what this session is about is working with collaboration apps. And I gave it that title for the sake of simplicity, but actually, when I say collaboration apps, I mean a whole bunch of apps. So we also have some productivity applications, we have communication applications, and collaboration. So before we start, I guess the first thing I want to do is just kind of give you an overview of what all of those tools are that Zoho offers. So the first thing we have is these communication tools. This is pretty straightforward. These are tools that every business probably uses. So you have email, we have Zoho Mail, there's chat, we have something called Zoho Chat, and soon it will be renamed Zoho Click, actually. And then you also need something for your audio calls, your web conferencing, so sharing your screen with your customers. Some businesses, that's very important, especially if you're in the software business. And then video calling. So these are all of the communication tools that most businesses need. And then on top of that, we have some productivity tools. So the two big things we have are Zoho Projects. And if you're not familiar with that, Zoho Projects is an application that lets you organize your long-term projects. So if you have like a big project where there's a bunch of people involved and maybe there's some deadlines that you have to hit and there's tasks that have to be done in a certain order so that everything can be done efficiently, you can use Zoho Projects to organize that kind of work. And then the next thing in the productivity tools is Zoho Social. So a lot of businesses are marketing on social networks like Facebook and Twitter. And Zoho Social allows you to enter in all of the big social networks into one application, so you can see all the messages from your customers, and you can also track keywords. So if there's certain keywords that people who might be good prospects for your business are going to be using on Twitter, you can track and see what people are saying about that keyword. You can actually find prospects through social media that way. And then finally, the last set of tools is the collaboration tools. So this is our document suite. This is very similar to like what Microsoft and Google have. So we have Zoho Writer, which is a word processor. We have Zoho Sheet, which is a cloud spreadsheet. And then we have Zoho Show for presentations. That's what I'm using right now. It's very similar to PowerPoint. And then finally, we have Zoho Docs. So Docs is for document storage in the cloud and organizing all of the documents you use every day. So there are places for all of these tools in a business, and the real value that Zoho brings you is by connecting all of these productivity and collaboration tools with your business tools. So a typical business is going to have several business apps, and this is like your Zoho CRM, your support software, maybe your marketing campaign software, your finance software. And the value that Zoho brings you is integrating all of these productivity and collaboration applications into these big business applications. And so no other vendor really does that, and that's what's unique about what we do. So a key point here, if you were in my sales inbox session, you may have heard a little bit about this already, but the integrations are contextual integrations, as we like to call them. And so what does a contextual integration mean? That means you have all of this information that you use to run your business. You have information about customers, you have information about projects that you're doing for those customers, and then you have all of these documents. Maybe you have legal agreements, or you have some drafts of your next marketing campaign, and you need all of this information to always be passing between people and showing up at the right moment. Because if you had all of this information in one application, that would just be crazy. It would be way too big, it would be way too complicated to handle. And so the idea of contextual integration is that we break up where your information goes. So maybe your customer information goes in CRM, your financial information about payments is going to go in Zoho Books, and then whenever you need a little bit of information from your financial payments to show up in CRM or vice versa, we're just delivering only the little bits of information you need at the right time and the right place. So I'm just going to give a couple examples here of contextual integrations that we offer with these tools. And so the first ones I got some slides for, but then after that, I'm going to jump over into the products and actually show you some of these things live. So the first one here is Zoho Campaigns and Zoho Docs. So when you're creating a marketing campaign, you can actually import the content for your campaign, so like the words or images in your email, from Zoho Docs. So this is just a screenshot showing when you're creating an email campaign, how you can just choose a document right there. And that's kind of nice because if you're anything like our marketing team, everything we write is a collaborative effort. And so everybody's co-writing and you're having multiple drafts, and at the end you may have one final version that 5 or 6 people have worked on. So you do all of that collaboration in the Zoho Writer environment, and Zoho Docs is holding that file, and then it gets imported into Zoho Campaigns when you're ready to finally send out that email that you've been refining for a couple weeks. So the next one is Zoho Recruit. Zoho Recruit also has a similar idea. So there's a repository of documents. So this technology that we built for Zoho Docs, we can reuse again and again in different places. And so the idea of Zoho Recruit, in case you're not familiar with this application, is that if you're a business who's growing really, really fast, you need to keep hiring people, and it's hard to find the right talent. So actually managing all of the interviews you have to do and all of the prospects of people who could be employees is a very complicated process. And so if there's certain documents that you're always sending to people who you're interviewing, for example, maybe you want to give them a employee handbook, or maybe you want to give them some kind of legal agreement that they have to sign, then you have one repository to store all of those documents right from the software that you're going to use to track all of these job applicants. Okay, and then here's another one. So I don't know if you guys have heard about this particular aspect of it, but you can actually embed a little chat button in your email signature, which is really cool. So we've integrated Sales IQ with Mail, and you can just have this little chat button in your email signatures, and it'll say whether or not you're online. So maybe you email a customer, and they read your email, and they immediately want to get in touch with you. Instead of emailing you back, and then you have to keep playing email tag, where it takes a day for them to respond and a day for you to respond, and before you know it, a whole week has gone by. If they see that you're online now, they can just hit that chat button. And if you've got Sales IQ open, then you can just immediately start a chat with that customer, resolve whatever you need to resolve, or have the conversation that is much easier to have over chat than over 5 days of email. Okay, so now I'm going to switch over and show you some live demos here. Okay, so I'm in CRM right now, and I just opened up a customer record. And the first thing I want to point out here, this is probably going to be difficult to see, so I'll try and zoom in as much as possible. We have this Zoho chat technology. So at the bottom here, you have a little chat bar, and you can actually reach out to other people who work with you. So if you need to have a quick conversation with a colleague, you have a chat bar right there. And a lot of other Zoho applications also have the same chat bar at the very bottom. So you can also see that through Zoho Mail. And one of the cool things about that is actually, if I can switch over here. Okay, so here is Sawyer, who works at Zoho. I can actually start a video or voice call from the chat. So I could write him a message right here. I could send him an attachment. I know this is really hard to see. I'll try and zoom in. I can send him an attachment real quickly. And then I can also click this button up here and just start an audio call or a video call right out of the browser. So nobody needs to have anything installed. Nobody needs to make sure they're signed into Skype or anything. If you guys just need to have a quick conversation while one of you is out of the office, you can just do that right from inside any Zoho product that has a chat bar at the bottom. I'm going to switch back over to CRM here. And so the other cool thing, we have this call button on each customer. So if you have their phone number, you could just click this call button. And if you don't have any telephony systems integrated, it's just going to call them through Skype. So I click that, it'll open up the Skype app. And if you do have something like Jive or some other provider like RingCentral integrated, you can click here and start a call right through those other phone services, which is pretty convenient. Okay. So the next thing I want to point out is the emails that you can see. So when you open up a contact inside CRM, we have this little emails section here, and you can actually see all your back and forth emails with that person. Which is really handy because it lets you see how you've been communicating. It would be terrible to go into CRM and you're trying to look for more information about a customer, and a lot of your relationship with them has just been through messages back and forth on email. If you don't have this context, you're not going to know as much about that customer. And we're actually one of the very few CRMs that will put this for each contact record inside a CRM. And then I also wanted to show you the attachments viewer. So this is really handy. Maybe you have documents or files that are related to a customer that your salesperson needs to know about. So in this example CRM, this is a business that does design work. And so when the salesperson is talking to the clients, maybe they're redesigning a website or they're creating mock-ups for a new logo, and the salesperson needs to know what's happening with the artists creating this artwork and then be able to deliver some of these things to the clients, especially if they're at the stage of going through negotiations or going through mock-ups and trying to get to a final agreement. So in here, we could see we have a website redesign project with this person, and we've attached an image in here, so I could just click on this, and we have a little image of, okay, this is what we think their website should look like, and now the salesperson can have access to that, and they can share it with the customer. So the next part I want to show you is the Zoho Projects view. So before I jump into this, I just want to show you what Zoho Projects looks like when you're actually in Zoho Projects. So this is Zoho Projects, and this is a feed view, so you can see updates on all the projects that are happening. And then you can click over to Projects, and you can go into an individual project and see what's going on there. So you can see how many tasks have been completed, who's working on it. I can go into this task list and see the dates that tasks are assigned or when they're supposed to be completed. So imagine that you're a salesperson and you sign a deal with a customer. And so after you sign that deal, the relationship is actually not over. Even though you've closed the deal, now the project phase begins where your company begins producing something for that customer. And since you're the salesperson, you're probably the first point of contact that customer had. And so whenever they have a question like, hey, how's the project going? How close are we to completion? They're probably going to come to you. They're going to come to the sales rep, and they're going to want to know what's up. So we have this integration between Zoho Projects and CRM that shows you just that. So your relationship with the customer does not end when the deal is signed. It actually continues after that. You have to deliver on the deal that you've made. And so when you look at this Zoho Projects view for a customer, you can see a quick overview of how the project is going. So these two bars right here are milestones and tasks. And so that's the way that projects are broken up inside Zoho Projects. You have these milestones, which are like the big, broad goals that go with that project, and then tasks underneath the milestones, which are smaller things that have to be completed. And you can quickly see, you can judge by this bar how much time it might take to complete the rest of their project. And then if you need more information, you can just click on the name of the project, and this will open up the projects module inside CRM. So you'll notice that the projects module here is literally just loading the exact same interface you see in projects, this thing, inside CRM. So you don't even have to leave CRM to get all this information you would need to know about. as a salesperson, and you can get a complete breakdown here. So the next thing that a salesperson might do in this case is maybe they want to send an invoice to the customer for some work that's been done on this project. So we can actually go down here to the invoices and expenses, and we can create an invoice here. And so what we can do is we can enter in a rate for the project, and then we can choose how we want to bill them. So maybe we just bill them one price for the entire project, or we can bill them a separate price for each task that has been done. And finally, you can also bill per user that's working on the project. So what that really means is maybe you have a bunch of people who are working to produce artwork for this person, and each one of those people has a different hourly rate. That's when you would choose that option. And the bugs, probably not relevant to most people, but just so you know what that is, we have this application called Bug Tracker. So if you are creating software for somebody, you can track the bugs that have been eliminated from it. And some people will bill based on how many bugs get fixed. Okay, so that's a lot of the integrations with CRM right there. But I just want to show you a couple other things. So in the upper right corner here, we have this thing called sales signals. So whenever your customers are interacting with you across any of the Zoho applications, any of the productivity or collaboration tools, then you'll be notified about it from CRM. So maybe you email a customer and you want to know once they've opened your email. Or maybe you want to know when a customer has submitted a support ticket because they're having problems using your product. Or maybe you just want to see when you missed a call from them, or when you missed a chat from somebody who landed on your website. They wanted to chat with you, but you just weren't available at the moment. So that's what Sales Signals is for. Whenever one of those things happens, you'll get a little red number, kind of like the number that's showing up over this mail icon here. And so you can see what you've missed from your customers, and there's little icons that let you know what you've been missing. So I know it's pretty difficult to see. I'll try and zoom in. Whoa, that's really high. So this little yellow icon means that there's a support ticket from this customer. And so I can click that, and immediately it will open up the support ticket, and I can see what they were asking about, which is pretty cool. I can see if there's a missed chat from somebody who's on our site. Click on it, it'll show me what chat they sent us. And if you use something like Zoho Survey, you can also see when a customer has filled out a survey response. So if you send somebody a survey through CRM and you're waiting to see what did they say, what have they been saying about us, how do they feel about us, then you'll be notified and you can actually click on your sales signal and open up their survey responses and see what they said. Okay, so another thing I want to show you real quick, you've already seen this idea in a couple of the other applications, but Zoho CRM also has this Documents module here. And so this is using the same technology as Zoho Docs, but it's not actually pulling in your Zoho Docs documents. So if you have like hundreds and hundreds of documents inside Zoho Docs, they're not going to show up when you go to the Documents module in CRM. It's important to remember. But what's really nice about that is this gives you a repository for just the things that salespeople would want to see. So a big problem is that maybe you have some kind of video that you want to share with customers. You have some kind of brochure that you want to share with them. And over time, that video or brochure keeps getting updated, and we keep making changes to it. And so usually the marketing team is the one doing that. But then they go and talk to the sales team, and they find out that, the sales guy who's been there 5 years is sending the video that's 5 years old, and the new sales guy is sending out the new video. And so all your customers are seeing different information, and you don't want that to happen. So what's nice about this is you can just have one version of all the files that you're commonly sharing with your customers all in one place. The salespeople don't have to wonder where it is or start doing their own thing. It's easy to find. And one cool thing about this is if you click on this little icon here, you can actually add in revisions, and you can add in notes. So if I make another version of this video, I can upload it in here, and we can keep both the versions, and we can keep notes about what changed from version to version, which is pretty awesome. And the last thing I want to point out there is you can see access stats. So in Zoho Docs, when somebody opens up one of your files, you'll know if they opened it up. Same thing here. So if you're a sales manager, maybe you go check this out and wonder why your salesperson has not been sharing a particular video with their customers, or maybe why haven't they opened it. So that's all I've got to show you there.
Thank you.